Live, recorded from Los Angeles, California, our nation's capital. It's Benny versus the Penny. Here's your host, Ben Maller.
And we are excited here. This is the real beginning. Not that the other episodes we've done here on YouTube are not legit, but this is the full Monty, week one of the NFL. And the road to redemption, Tom, begins right here. The road to redemption. I will save face. I will return to the top of the mountain. And I am planning on slaying the Penny. And it all begins this weekend. You want to get off to a good start. We're going to get off to a good start here, Tom.
That's right. Nothing like week one of the NFL, Big Ben, the smell of football in the air, human growth hormone, testosterone. And here in LA, smog and pot. Nevertheless, nothing like the smell of football in the air. Such a great time of year. Penny, for your thoughts.
Yeah, so I have a couple thoughts. First of all, Eagle Eyes, a story that's been going around recently. The Eagles went full alpha mode this summer. I love how this story came out the other day. So the Eagles dialed up Jerry Jones and said, hey, Jerry, how about Micah Parsons? Why don't we trade for Micah Parsons? Obviously, Parsons went to Green Bay. I love this story because what the Eagles did was they wanted to see if Jerry Jones had lost his marbles to like the degree where he was like our former president there, Tom, where he's just completely delusional and has lost his mind. So obviously it didn't happen. Howie Roseman didn't get the player, Micah Parsons. He ended up going to Green Bay, but the guy's from Pennsylvania, from Harrisburg, PA, went to Penn State. It made a lot of sense. So Jerry Jones, though, despite all the chaos, he is senile, but he's not that senile.
Millard Fillmore's family just called. They said, stop making fun of their dad.
So anyway, at least the Eagles gave it the old college try. And as the NFL season begins, and we're still a ways away, the trade deadline is in November in the NFL, late October, early November. So who's most likely to be traded? Let's do some window shopping here. Now, there is one name that stands out here that I want to feature, and that is Alvin Kamara of the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans is not only a football team, Tom, they're terrible. They blow. And Alvin Kamara is a name. He's got a decent-sized contract. He's going to get the bulk of the work for the Saints because they don't have anybody else in the running game there in New Orleans. He will be showcased the first month or two of the NFL season, and then the Saints will attempt to repackage him before the trade deadline. Obviously, he's 30 years old, Alvin Kamara. He's really good at casinos in Vegas if you need somebody to back you up there in a fight. Now, as far as who would want Alvin Kamara, you got to say who's going to lose a running back to injury. There'll be at least a couple running backs to get hurt. But look at teams like Kansas City, the Denver Broncos, and even, dare I say, the Dallas Cowboys as possibilities. And my final thought, Viva Las Vegas. We go to Vegas where Mark Davis, the Raiders owner this week, said Tom Brady was close to signing with the Raiders back in 2020, 5 years ago. But Mark Davis claimed that he was outvoted by the coach and GM. Mark Davis said that John Gruden and Mike Mayock wanted to stick with Derek Carr over Tom Brady. Now, this is not just a missed opportunity. In hindsight, obviously, it's a missed opportunity. Tom Brady went to Tampa and won a Super Bowl. It's also a confession, though, for Mark Davis. The Raiders owner is admitting, he just told on himself here. Mark Davis is admitting to the world here, Tom, that he's not really the owner. You're supposed to be the Supreme Court justice that makes the decision. Exactly. He's not that. So anyway, those are a few of my thoughts, Tom. But let's get to the games.
We love the Penny for your thoughts. Normally we recap last week, but since this is week one, there's no Looney recap, which I'm sure you love, you and your massive ego. So let's get to the games. Baltimore at Buffalo, where President McKinley was assassinated, September 1901, a day that will live in infamy. It's the Looney Bowl, two of my favorite teams. I have three favorite teams. Sue me. Lamar Jackson versus Josh Allen, two guys that can't win the big one, but somebody's got to win this game, and nobody's getting any points.
Yeah, this game's a pick 'em. Although there are some lines out where Baltimore is a 1-point favorite, so it's the line we've got here is a pick 'em. This game is on NBC. We know a thing or two about NBC, Tom. Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth have the call, the Sunday night game. And you'll love this, Tom, as a Bills fan. 59 degrees and a chance of rain.
Whoa.
That's football weather, Tom.
That's right.
Is what that is. And so, listen, I'm on the Poets on this game. It's going to be ground and pound. You know, you always get upset when I pick the Ravens, but then you get upset when I don't pick the Ravens. So I'm going to take Baltimore here. A little keep away game. John Harbaugh's team.
Wow.
Really good last year at ball control. They only had 11 turnovers. I think that was the number I saw all of last year. And Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson combining for the top 1-2 attack in terms of running the football in the NFL. And if you can do that, which I believe they will, you'll be able to keep the ball away from Josh Allen. The Bills defense is already banged up. We haven't even began the year. They've already got some injuries there. They also struggled last year. I know that was last year, not this year, Tom, but they struggled against elite offenses last year, gave up 31 or more points and 5 losses against the spread against top offenses. And Baltimore supposedly upgraded their secondary. They added Jair Alexander, a couple of other guys to improve that and try to slow down Josh Allen. So I'm going poetry in motion here, Tom.
Love it.
Defense. This better not lose, Tom. I'm going to come find you, okay?
Okay, throw that penny onto the unfrozen tundra of Highmark Stadium. Oh, Penny landing on tails. Benny going with the Ravens. And Penny going with the Ravens. Interesting.
All right, so some agreement. Let's move on. Where are we going next, Tom?
Okay, let's go to the Meadowlands. Pittsburgh versus the Jets, where Jimmy Hoffa is buried in the end zone there in the Meadowlands. Most people think the Jets will get buried by Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. But what does Ben Maller think?
So I think Jimmy Hoffa was buried in the old stadium. So did they dig him up when they built the new stadium? I don't know. Well, this game's on CBS. Ian Eagle and J.J. Watt have the call here, Tom. So this is is it the Aaron Rodgers revenge game or is it the Justin Fields revenge game?
By the way, just as a note, J.J. Watt will be there if he doesn't get hurt.
Yes. You'll know J.J. Watt's going to be there because he'll send 7 selfies of himself to let everyone know how good he looks. So is this the Aaron Rodgers or is it the Justin Fields revenge game? Time will tell them. The outcome of this game will determine who got the revenge in this game. Now, I'm on the side of the injuries. I normally don't like road favorites, but here's why. Aaron Rodgers will play a relatively clean game. He is at least as good as what Pittsburgh has had at quarterback in recent years. A lot of quick throws, short throws, quick reads, avoid sacks. The Steelers traditionally also have a defense that is able to get pressure. And one thing I know, a universal truth here on Benny versus the Penny from doing it all these years, if you get any pressure on Justin Fields, he starts getting flop sweat right across here. And so good luck on that. And other than Sauce Gardner, I look at that Jets secondary. I don't see a lot there. This has DK Metcalf going up and down the field, having a big day. The Steelers have a coaching advantage here in this game, Tom, as the Jets are breaking in a new head coach, Aaron Glenn. So that is a factor. Usually new head coaches struggle right out of the gates. The Jets also have a new offensive coordinator. And if you want a fun fact, Tom,
love fun fact.
So in the last 13 years, the Jets have entered the regular season at 100-1 or higher odds, 100-1 or higher odds to win and get into the playoffs, right? To get into the postseason. Like the 100-1 odds just to get into the playoffs, and including this year. So the Jets' playoff drought is now up to 14 years, and that is tied with the Buffalo Sabres from the National Hockey League for the longest playoff drought in the industrial complex.
If I was a television or radio program director, I would say never talk about the Jets. There's no reason ever to talk
about the Buffalo Sabres either. I'll give you a bonus fun fact here. So
wait a minute. Tails the visitors, Penny landing on heads, Penny going with the Jets, Benny going with the.
Yeah, I'm taking this serious. But a bonus fun fact on that game, Tom, when Justin Fields goes against a team that scores 20 points or more than 20 points, his teams have played 21 games like that. They're 0-21. He's never led a team to a win when the other team scores more than 20 points. So, all right, moving on from that. Where are we going now, Tom?
That's the reason to watch this show. Great fun. And what's great about this YouTube version is you can cram all your homework into the show. You don't have to keep moving. Like, we have a director in our saying, let's go.
Yeah.
Las Vegas at New England, Foxborough, Massachusetts, but it's not Tom Brady against Rich Gannon. It's Drake May against Geno Smith.
Yeah, and this is a CBS.
The Raiders getting 2.5 points.
Yeah, Raiders getting 2.5. So CBS game, Spiro Ditas and Adam Archuleta have the call there.
That when you hear those two names, it's not a national game.
Is that the new Dick Stockton game of the week? Well, Mike Vrabel versus Pete Carroll, a couple of coaches who changed teams, making their debut here. Now, I'm going to go with the Raiders in this game, Tom. Mainly, I am betting against Drake May. I don't trust him. The Raiders have a spotty defense on paper. Max Crosby, though, is still a game wrecker for the Raiders. The offensive line for the Patriots, they made some changes. We're not sure whether those changes are an upgrade or a downgrade, so time will tell. And while I certainly am no fan of Geno Smith, as you know, Tom, I have spent many a day knocking Geno Smith on Benny versus the Penny. He's not
made that very clear.
He's not my preferred quarterback. However, this is the rare and appropriate. It's rare and appropriate that Geno Smith actually is the better option, the safer option in this particular game. The Raiders have a new offensive coordinator. Chip Kelly takes over, which means a lot of the short passing game, yakety yak, which is a problem, Tom, because other than Brock Bowers, I think you could be the number 4 receiver for the Raiders at this point. It's not, I know he's a tight end, but it's not good. And Amari Cooper, who just signed, already announced his retirement, Tom, which is not good. And this will end the streak. The Patriots have been underdogs in 17 consecutive games entering the start of this year, the longest active streak in the NFL. They are favored in this game slightly, so that'll end that streak. But I am going to take the Raiders.
Okay, you're taking the visitors with the Raiders. Heads to the home team, tails to the visitors. Penny also agreeing with you, taking the Raiders and the points.
All right, where are we going?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Not you, Ben, but you, the viewer.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us on the YouTube version of Benny versus the Penny. So grateful for NBC promoting us from cable to a worldwide platform. And one of the cool things about the lack of time constraints is we can pick more games, Ben.
Yes, that's true. Let's get back to those games. What do you say, Tom?
Tampa Bay and Atlanta, birthplace of Raven Simone from the Cosby Show. And hey, the Buccaneers are in town. Baker Mayfield, my sleeper pick for MVP this season, Ben. But it's not about me. It's about the Buccaneers and the Falcons and your picks. Atlanta getting 2.
Yeah, you don't try to usurp the penny here. This is the game. It's on Fox. Kenny Albert, friend of the show. Kenny Albert, Jonathan Vilma have the call on Fox. Now, it is imperative. I'm going to take the Atlanta Falcons in this game, and here's why. It is imperative the Falcons run the ball. I believe they will be able to run the ball in this game with Bijan Robinson, or however he's pronouncing his name this year. I guess it changed. But, open up the play action. Keep this game close to the vest, and you want to control the rhythm, the timing, obviously, because we're not all in on Michael Penix Jr., but we are optimistic. The word is optimistic, Tom, on Atlanta's defense being better. They revamped the pass rush. They're all excited about a couple of the new guys, including Jalen Walker and whatnot. They've added to that defense. And Baker Mayfield, who you just said is a dark horse for the MVP and all that, he did struggle the second game he played last year against Atlanta, had a couple of interceptions, was not a masterpiece performance. And
look how far back you had to go to find a bad game.
It was last season. It was last season. And in Baker Mayfield's career, here's a amazing fun factoid, Tom. So he has made 20 starts as a favorite against divisional opponents. This is a divisional game. His teams against the spread in divisional games are 6-14 against the spread. And of 85 quarterbacks to make a start as a favorite versus a divisional opponent. Baker Mayfield has the worst record against the spread in the entire NFL. So that's what he has done, not what he's going to do.
This is the new improved Baker Mayfield. Let's flip a coin here.
I'm going to take Atlanta, though, plus the points there.
Benny going with Atlanta. Penny landing on tails. Going with the Buccaneers. Benny raising eyebrows and taking the thing.
It's a value play, Tom. Value play.
If I were advising you, I would say never pick the Falcons ever, just like the Jacksonville Jaguars are.
You're not advising me, Tom. It's Benny versus the penny. It's not. Don't try to touch up my work, Tom. Where are we going now?
Okay, Cincinnati at Cleveland. Cleveland, Ohio, not the mistake by the lake. It's the mistake by the Cuyahoga River. Remember that, Big Ben? Too often we talk Cleveland Browns, and it's not good radio or television when you talk too often about the Cleveland Browns. But people have been talking about the Cleveland Browns. Of course, Shedeur Sanders is part of that. They're getting 5 at home in a divisional game. Wow.
Well, I like the fact that you're quoting one of our old board ops back at I know you're part of the Fox Sports Radio Alumni Association, Tom, but we had a board op from Ohio who I used to make that joke, the mistake by the lake, and he wanted to fight me.
He hated
it. I think you know who that. Well, he did have a drinking problem. But I think he's sober now. But he wanted to fight me. He's like, you can't say that about my hometown.
Well, in his defense, he didn't have a drinking problem. It was drugs. But nevertheless,
well, one and the same. All right, so Cincinnati and Cleveland. Let's say Fox game. Kevin Kugler and the Moose. Daryl Johnston. How about Daryl Johnston, who played for the Cowboys back in the 90s? 30 years later, he's still doing TV.
That's great.
Yeah.
He went from the number 1 team to 2 to 3. But when you have a good broadcaster, keep them. Just you don't have to fire these guys. Just move them to the fourth string or the 5th string.
Yeah, this is back in the old days. They say this is a public access broadcast, but anyway. This is more. I'm going to take the Cleveland football team. Believe it or not, Tom. Don't tell anybody, but this is more of a bet against the Bengals early in the season than it is on Cleveland. It's a divisional game. You're getting points. Home dogs. We love our home dogs here, and the numbers are all over the place. Joe Burrow has been terrible to begin the year. The Bengals have been bad the first 2 weeks of the year historically. In fact, if you go the first 4 weeks of the season. Joe Burrow has just a terrible career record in those first 4 games. So, listen, how can Cleveland compete here despite clearly having a talent gap? Cincinnati, the much better team. Well, it starts with Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett's got to treat this game like he's driving on a highway in Ohio, go 100 miles an hour, and get to the quarterback. Was that too soon, Tom? I don't know. And listen, the Browns. The key defensively, other than Myles Garrett, is to try to force Joe Burrow to do checkdowns. As you know, being a football guy, Tom, you don't want Jamar Chase and T. Higgins to get those big chunk plays. And as far as how the Browns are going to score, Joe Flacco may be 40. He might even be older than that. Who knows? I mean, it seems like he's 1,000 the way he moves around. But just a methodical offense here. Get Jerry Jeudy the ball here. He's the sneaky X factor. He had some breakout. He had some breakout games last year for the Cleveland Browns here. But this is going to be a close game. I'd be very surprised if the Browns get blown out. The Browns' problems are going to be when they start having injuries and they lose depth because they don't have good backups. But early on, they should be able to compete with that defense. So I'm going to take Cleveland plus the points in this game. Wow. What about the penny?
Shout out to Andrew Siciliano, play-by-play voice of the Browns. Big fan of mine. He thinks you're okay. Okay, Penny, let's go. Let's move it along here. Penny landing on tails. Penny going with the Bengals. Benny with the Browns at home.
All right, where are we headed now, Tom?
Ooh, where are we headed? Let's get the graphics department to put up our graphic. Houston at the LA Rams in Inglewood in the hood. Up to no good. NBC wouldn't let me do that back in the day.
If we were on television, we would have had to stop the record, right? We're doing one take, by the way. We're not doing 15 takes. We're doing one take. But if we were on television, we would have stopped, and Looney would have gotten chewed out by Vinny. He would have yelled at you. What are you doing? You can't say that. What's wrong with you?
Well, all of that is true. Vinny didn't used to yell at me, but he did say stop quite often. Yes. Oh
Your
my God.
nickname actually in the control room was Stop. That was your nickname. It was
Yeah.
not. It was Stop.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We would, whenever they did that, we would just hope it was the other guy. And I go this way, and it was usually me.
Yeah.
Houston Texans are getting 3.
Yeah. So Houston, listen, they made some changes to their offensive line here. Now, a lot of people, it seems, based on the pulse of the people, and I am on the pulse of the people, Tom, doing overnight talk radio, love Houston because of Matthew Stafford. It's more of a bet against Matthew Stafford. He missed pretty much all of camp with a bad back. And now he goes against a defense that has Will Anderson Jr., some other playmakers that can get to the quarterback here. But I'm going to go with the Rams. I like Sean McVay's squad mainly because of the defense here. The Texans changed their offensive line. They gave away Laramie Tunzel, their top tackle. They did not replace him. They downsized the offensive line. And I look at that Rams defense led by Jared Verse, and I'm like, this guy's going to have a field day. They should be able to harpoon C.J. Stroud and get to him and force Houston to be a one-dimensional team. Plus, the Texans are without Joe Mixon, their top running back. So they're going to play Nick Chubb, the ex-Brown, who's had major injury problems, and Damian Pierce to do the heavy lifting here. Sean McVay, 8 games in week 1 in his career. His team is 6-2 against the spread, so it's been a good bet. And as long as Stafford's in the game, get the ball to Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams. The Rams will be able to score some points. The Rams are the right side in this game. What about the penny?
And remember, Ben, Matt Stafford has never played in the preseason ever. That's how often he's been hurt. But it's worked for them. Lily White, Steve Martin grew up in Inglewood, Ben, but you knew that. Landing on heads. Okay. Penny landing on heads. Penny agreeing with Betty and going with the team of your youth.
That's right. But here's the thing, though. You mentioned that Stafford never plays in the preseason, the exhibition season. That's true. He normally practices, though. He didn't practice for like the first 3 weeks of training camp. So usually he's out there practicing. What's next, Tom?
Okay. Tennessee at Denver, where Buffalo Bill is buried on Lookout Mountain. But you knew that. Tennessee Titans getting 9 points. Am I reading this correctly off the teleprompter? 9 points. Yeah. I know Ben, I know you're a points whore. I have a feeling I know where this is going.
Well, you're an attention whore. I'm a points whore. There's a difference there, Tom. But I am going to take Tennessee. This game's on Fox. Adam Amin and Mark Sanchez have the call. So I am going for line value, Tom. I'm going for line value. Tennessee should be better. They were the worst team in the NFL. That's why they ended up with the number one pick in the draft. I believe they're undervalued.
Should is a weasel word, to quote Shakespeare.
That was true. They're undervalued here. They had terrible quarterback play and horrific special teams. They were a bunch of stumble bums last year. The special teams are going to be better. We're not sure about the quarterback, but this is the largest point spread on the board. I love dogs. Now, the Broncos are a popular pick by popular people. Bo Nix set an NFL gambling record last year, 12-5 against the spread. That is the top against the spread record ever in the recorded history of gambling on the NFL, which goes back, 40-something years, maybe even longer than that. But against the spread, he was a cover machine last year. But as you taught me when I was a little boy, and I used to listen to you on the radio, Tom, that tells you what has happened, not what's going to happen here. Tennessee's going to try to hide Cam Ward, their quarterback, spoon feed him. He's making his NFL debut. That means what? A rudimentary game plan for the Tennessee offense here. A lot of swing passes. You love the bubble screen, Tom. You love the dump offs, all that stuff. So
and the rub routes. I did a rub route this morning.
I bet you did. Lots of running with Tony Pollard, the running back, ex-Cowboy there, has been in Tennessee for a bit. And so listen, Tennessee in a miserable season last year, their pass defense was statistically one of the better pass defenses in the NFL. They think they're going to be better this year. I am going to be a flame head, Tom. That's what Titan fans call themselves, flame heads. I'm going to take the Tennessee Titans. What about the penny?
I'm so surprised. Wow. Let's check it out. Penny. Heads. Wow. Okay.
Listen,
That's good.
we have
Penny going with the home team. Benny taking the points with the
this is a
Titans.
fine oiled machine we have going here, Tom. Where are we headed now?
Okay. New York Giants at the Washington Commanders. Landover, Maryland, where gambling on football is legal. Bravo. It's like a free country in Maryland. Giants are getting 5.
So this is the big game on Fox. That means Tom Brady, Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady will be there calling this game on Fox. Now, I'm going to take the Giants here to spoil the party. The Commanders made the Final Four last year, and they were, if they had actually shown up to the NFC Championship game, they could have gone to the Super Bowl, but alas, they did not here. Now, I am going with Russell Wilson, but I'm really not going with Russell Wilson here. He's no longer Mr. Unlimited. He's Mr. Limited. He just needs to be Mr. Game Manager in this game, Tom. And don't be the reason the Giants fizzle, okay? Wilson has not been great since in week 1 games. If you go back to 2015, so the last 10 years or so, last 9 years, I guess it is, Wilson is 2-6-1 against the spread, and that is 83rd out of 85 quarterbacks in that span, which is not good. However, the Giants have Malik Neighbors. They have Wan'Dale Robinson. They have a couple other guys that are playmakers on offense, but I'm going with the defense here. I am going with the defense. The Giants with Abdul Carter, the big addition, the rookie who they think is going to dominate. They've got good name brand players on that defense with Brian Burns, who's still there, Dexter Lawrence up front. New York's front seven is built to disrupt. And people think that Washington, in hindsight, they think they blew everyone out. Most of the time, those were Elvis Presley games, Tom, heartbreak hotel games where they ended up winning. The Commanders have to show me that their defense is actually pretty good because they were terrible last year, especially at stopping the run. The Commanders ranked 27th in EPA allowed per hand. That's a nerd stat, Tom. So expect Tyrone Tracy.
It's the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. I immediately think Environmental Protection Agency.
Well, yeah. Well, expected performance outcome or whatever it is. Anyway, I'm going to take Devin Singletary, Tyrone Tracy, and the running game for the Giants here. What about the Penny?
Okay, let's see what the Penny thinks. Okay.
All right. Come on, Penny. Come on.
Lives in the D.C. area. Oh, Penny
okay.
living on tails. Penny taking the points, and Benny, taking the Giants and the points as well. Wow.
Yeah, look at that. It's not good when we agree, Tom. I don't like that. All right, what's next? Where are we headed now on this extravaganza? An international audience. We don't do shout-outs, Tom, so I can't say hello to Ozzy Waz. He's a Saints fan. He lives in Western Australia. I certainly can't say hello to Alf, the Alien Opiner, or Ferg Dog, or any of those guys. Can't do it. Cannot
right.
do it.
And they have to edit out my shout out to Eric Melendez, my godson in the D.C. area, too. I said that earlier. I said it again, but we'll spruce it up in post.
In post, yes. A lot of production, post-production. I think I've met him. Have I not met him, Tom? I believe I did.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have.
Very nice lad, although he's a little bit of a slow eater. Just a little bit.
I remember that. Detroit at Green Bay, toilet paper capital of the world, as you know, Big Ben. We've got ourselves an NFC North brouhaha. Some might call it a hullabaloo. What would you call it, Ben?
We call it a slobber knocker.
Okay.
I call it a slobber knocker.
Lions are getting 2.5.
Yeah. Oh, you know why they're playing this game, Tom?
Well, because it's two legendary teams from the frozen tundra of Green Bay, Wisconsin, the NFC North brouhaha. And what do you mean why they're playing this game? Just because it's on television? Because it's on the schedule? No, these are two great teams, Ben.
It's on the schedule. I just wanted to see if you were ready because it's our first show, Tom, and we have certain lines that we have down pat. I thought I might throw you off with that, but to your credit, Tom, the savvy TV veteran, a graduate of the best damn sports show period back in the day, you did not fall for my trickeration. Good job.
Well, I didn't fall for that because this one doesn't fit. That's when two teams suck. We always throw that line. And so far, we don't know who sucks.
Yes, that is true. It's too early to know who sucks. You mentioned, did you mention the line on this game, Tom? I wasn't listening.
Yes, they did. The Lions getting 2.5.
Yeah, Lions are getting 2.5 here. So this is the Micah Parsons Packer debut the much ballyhooed Micah Parsons trade here. And I'm going to go with the Packers at Lambeau Field, just down the road from where my brother Mike lives over in Appleton. The Lions quarterback, Jared Goff, who I know well from his days with the Rams. One thing about Jared Goff, he does not handle stressful situations very well, which generally means if you're being pressured by, I don't know, Micah Parsons, that could be a problem. So Detroit also made a bunch of changes here to the interior of their offensive line, which seems to be problematic unless those guys prove otherwise. The great unknown, right? The great unknown, that offensive line. Now, we are going to go with the Cheeseheads again in this game on Benny versus the Penny, even though Jordan Love has been a very slow starter. It's kind of like you at the table reads, Tom. You're very slow to kind of pick things up at the table reads. Once the show starts, you're in good shape. Green Bay also has a new number 1 wide receiver, Matthew Golden, who they got out of the draft here. And here's another amazing factoid. You want a fun factoid, Tom? Here it is. No head coach is better at covering the spread early than Matt LaFleur of the Green Bay Packers, 15-3 against the spread in their first 3 games since 2019. And that is at the very top, better than any team in the NFL, 7-0. 7-0 at Lambeau Field against the spread. So does that mean that continues, or is that trend going to come to an end? I am going to take the Cheeseheads. I'll take the celebration as the Lions get off to those low start with those new coordinators. What about the penny?
Hey, let's toss that penny onto the unfrozen tundra of Lambeau Field. Penny. Tails. Penny going with the visitors, the Lions. Penny giving away points and going with the Green Bay Packers.
All right, so we leave that nice northern Wisconsin plant, and where are we going now? Where are we headed now?
Windy City, which is called the Windy City. Why? No, not because of the weather, because of the windbag politicians. Minnesota, Chicago, home of deep dish pizza and the National Guard. This is the Monday night game. Frank Gifford, Howard Cosell, and Dandy Don won't be calling the game, Ben. Do you know why?
Why? Because they're not around? They're dead? Is that why?
Yeah, they're dead. Very good. The Bears are getting 2 points.
You know who is calling this game, though, Tom? A couple of ex-Fox refugees there, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. Man, how about that package deal? They left. They took the bag. They got the bag.
People get on their case on the World Wide Web. I think they're great.
Yeah, well, okay. So listen, this is a questionable game because you can make compelling arguments for both sides. I went into this thinking I was going to take Chicago in this game at home, divisional game, Monday night. But you start crunching the numbers here. I went the other way. The pick is on Minnesota. J.J. McCarthy is making his first NFL start, so that scares you a little bit. The Vikings did invest on the offensive line. Again, we have to see whether or not that investment pays off. In theory, it will pay off. And if Sam Darnold last year could have success, you would assume that J.J. McCarthy is not a country bumpkin. He will be able to get it done as well. He didn't throw the ball much at all at Michigan, but you have Justin Jefferson. It is true the number 2 receiver for the Vikings is suspended, but you have T.J. Hawkinson, the tight end there. There's enough there for the Minnesota Vikings. And another one of these games, I like the defense. Brian Flores, who's still suing the NFL, still working in the NFL, a very aggressive defensive coordinator. And his defense will be able to get to Caleb Williams. And Caleb Williams is a guy that, he might have to go paint his nails at halftime time. He'll be so rattled from all that. And really, this is more of a bet against Ben Johnson, also rookie head coach. Bears lost 5 straight home games last season. Obviously, a much different team now. But give me the Purple People Eaters on a Monday night football on the shores of beautiful Lake Michigan, which looks like an ocean.
Tails for the visitors, for those of you watching live on Versus. And joining us late, Penny landing on Tails. Penny going with the visiting Minnesota Vikings. So is Big Ben Maller.
So we move away from Chicago. Where are we going now on this wide?
The other game's not featured where you and the Penny disagree, Big Ben.
Okay.
And the graphics department pull up that banner for us. There we go.
There we go. So other
Feature.
games. All right.
Miami, Indianapolis. Benny going with Miami. Penny with Indy. Benny going with the Cardinals. Penny with the Saints. And San Francisco and Seattle. Benny going with the 49ers. Penny taking the Seattle Seahawks. And
So the Penny is picking, if I'm not mistaken, the Colts, and that means Danny Dimes. That's a terrible pick. Horrible pick.
That's right. Before we exit stage left or exit guest bedroom left, Ben, make it make sense.
All right, couple of quick hitters here. I do want to thank you for you watching this here, and please.
You're welcome.
Well, no, not you. You don't watch this, but we're a mom and pop operation, Tom. We're a mom and pop operation, and so we've chosen, for better or worse, not to buy followers. Most of YouTube is fake. People just buy followers. We haven't done that yet because we're cheap. So we want to build this thing up organically. We want to make this something so every single person that follows us, tells someone about the show. That helps us out. But as far as my thoughts on this, Tom.
One quick note, Ben. One quick fun fact. Poop is organic. Did you know this?
Well, anyway, how about this bad blood bill? Now, you've known me for a long time, Tom. You know I like to hold a grudge, right? I hold a grudge.
Oh, yes, I do.
I do. People.
Matter of fact, I'm lucky to be your friend because I've been in the grudge box a couple of times.
Yeah. People do me dirty. You know, in the 90s, I'm still upset with him. But anyway, bad blood Bill Belichick, the man who turned the New England Patriots into a football empire, we know he's coaching in college at North Carolina. Did you see the story though? He's apparently banned New England scouts from Tar Heel practices. So my thought on this quickly is, make no mistake here. Bill Belichick is flipping the bird. He's giving the bird to Robert Kraft from the ACC sidelines there. Like, he's like saying, you fired me. Your scouts can go watch Duke or somebody. The funniest thing about this, Tom, the way North Carolina played in that first college game when they got run off the field, the New England Patriots scouts would be better off scouting powder puff football. There's more talent there than North Carolina, the way they played.
Don't worry, Paul, they won't be back.
Yeah, my final point, Tom, the NFL going beast mode. They signed a deal this week with Mr. Beast. The NFL marketing bozos are at it again. Mr. Beast. Now, I realize we're in Mr. Beast domain here on YouTube, Tom, but you got to understand your audience. You're trying to sell football to Mr. Beast audience. Yeah. People who think a first down, Tom, the Mr. Beast crowd thinks a first down is a YouTube milestone. That's what they think, right? These are not your fans. You're not going to convert them to all of a sudden sit home and watch the Red Zone and all the commercials on Sunday. They're out watching, prank videos and eating Takis or whatever. And so I don't get it. I know what they're trying to do, but it's not going to work. And you're really annoying your meat and potato fans who are like, "What are you doing?" I mean, I've been watching the NFL forever. I don't want my NFL hijacked by influencers like Mr. Beast. What's wrong with you? So there you go. All right, that's it, Tom. And again, I want to thank everyone, right? Everyone for being part of this and watching. And I want to thank our production team, Tom. Yes. So many people behind the scenes. I mean, these graphics are network quality. I want to thank everyone.
Thank you so much.
How about the different camera angles we have, the lighting? There's a lot of people behind the scenes.
Okay. And our director, Martin Scorsese Jr. on the Skeleton Crew. Thank you for watching Benny versus the Penny.